EA has finally done it. It found a way to charge players for the privilege of doing homework early. EA's own help page says players can pre-order the next season's Battle Pass for a limited time before release, and PC Gamer reports that Battlefield 6 is now letting players pre-order Season 3 ahead of its May 12 start. So here is the clean version. They are not pre-selling a game, an expansion, or even a map pack. They are selling early commitment to a reward track that has not opened yet. Pre-order once meant buy early and play early. Now it means pay early and start the work later. That is not innovation. That is a task list with a checkout button. Here are the confirmed basics, because this story only works if the receipts stay in front. PC Gamer says the standard Season 3 Battle Pass costs 1,100 Battlefield coins, which it prices at $9.99. Battlefield Pro costs $24.99 in cash. EA's help page confirms that pre-ordering is available only for a limited time before the next season releases, and it also confirms that most content from that purchase does not arrive right away. Most of it shows up when the next season begins. Highlight the words, limited time. Then highlight the part where the content comes later. Stamp, unpaid labor, over it if you want the visual to tell the joke. That matters, because the whole sales pitch falls apart the second you say it in plain English. Players are being asked to commit money before the season is live, before the full premium track is active, and before the community has had time to judge whether the thing is worth touching. This is not a convenience feature. It is a pressure feature. The point is to secure the purchase before the product has to defend itself. The first obvious question is what anyone actually gets for paying early. On the regular pre-order, PC Gamer says players get a Verdant L110 weapon package immediately. Then, when Season 3 starts on May 12th, they get 2 free tier skips. That is the standard carrot. A green-themed LMG package now, 2 tiny shortcuts later, and then the rest of the pass when the season actually opens. They are dangling scraps in front of a delayed product and calling it a reason to rush. The early reward is not some major expansion of value. It is bait designed to make the timed pre-order sound less ridiculous than it actually is. If this had any less substance, they would have mailed players a sticker and called it premium engagement. The Pro version follows the same logic. PC Gamer reports that the Battlefield Pro pre-order includes that same Verdant L110 package, plus a Verdant P18 pistol package immediately. Then tier skips and XP boosts when the season launches. EA's official Battle Pass page says Battlefield Pro includes things like 5 tier skips, a 15% XP boost, Pro-only rewards and paths, extra challenge rerolls, exclusive assignments, and other extras layered on top of the seasonal system. Wait, it gets dumber. They are not just selling players the pass. They are selling them the ability to play less through tier skips. Think about the logic required to market, not playing, as a premium feature. That is what makes the offer feel so hollow. It is not built around exciting players with better content. It is built around giving them more paid ways to move through a system faster. Now, to be fair, this is not the sloppy version of the argument where we pretend EA locked functional gear behind cash alone. Their public material is careful on that point. EA says gameplay impacting content like weapons, gadgets and maps will be free or earnable for players and will not require spending money. So the correct criticism is not, they sold the gun itself for cash only, because the evidence does not support that. The correct criticism is more annoying, because it is more precise. EA kept the promise but built a toll booth around it. They did not slam the front door in players' faces. They built a premium hallway around the door, added timed pre-orders, added skips, added boosts, added rerolls, and then acted like the core promise still makes the surrounding behavior harmless. That is why this deserves a grounded rant instead of a sloppy one. The trick is not brute force greed. The trick is dressed up greed. And there is another layer here that matters more than the cosmetic bait. Taking the money early changes player behavior. Once somebody has already paid, the season no longer has to be amazing to get their attention. The player already has a reason to log in on May 12th. The player already has that little voice saying, I paid for this, so I may as well get my money's worth. That is the sunk cost trap, and it is perfect for a live service game. The quality bar can drift lower because obligation starts doing part of the work that excitement used to do. The pre-order is not just a transaction. It is a leash. It ties the player to the next season before the next season has proven anything. That is why this move matters beyond Battlefield 6. It shows how live service design increasingly tries to secure attendance in advance. The broader context makes it worse, because this is not happening while Battlefield 6 is riding some unstoppable wave of momentum. GamesRadar reported that the game passed 700,000 concurrent players on Steam in under 1 hour, and Steam B shows an all-time peak of 747,440 players on October 10, 2025. But the public Steam charts since then show a long drop. Steam charts lists an average of 56,525 players in January 2026 and 31,779 in April 2026. Put a simple red line on screen and let it fall off a cliff. Then hit it with a flatline sound when it reaches April. That is not a player base. That is a ghost town with a gift shop. PC Gamer's report says Season 2 did not do much to reverse that slide. That does not mean the game is dead. It means the launch mania stopped carrying the room. And when launch hype stops carrying the room, accounting shows up with a fresh idea. Suddenly the menu gets more inventive. Suddenly the system needs another angle, another tier, another premium lane, another timed purchase window. The answer is rarely, make the game feel simpler and better. The answer is usually, make the store smarter. EA's own structure shows exactly where that energy is going. The system now has a free track, a paid Battle Pass and Battlefield Pro above that. Each paid layer adds more convenience tools inside the same progression loop. More skips, more boosts, more premium rewards, more rerolls, more assignments. Every year these systems become more segmented, more polished, and more detailed than half the quality of life improvements players beg for. Meanwhile, players are still wrestling with slower progression, uneven reward pacing, confusion over rewards, and the larger question of why everything has to feel like managed engagement instead of just a video game. The monetization suite looks future-ready. The experience around it still sounds tired. The street-level reaction fits that mood too. Reddit is not law, but it is useful as a temperature check when you treat it like that instead of a sacred text. In the visible Battlefield thread about pre-purchasing Season 3, one user basically shrugs and says there is nothing wrong with buying now instead of later. Another says it lowers EA's incentive to make the pass good. That split is the whole audience reaction in miniature. You see resignation on one side and suspicion on the other. Around the same space, players keep bringing up slow battle pass progress, burnout, confusion over rewards, and the usual live service fatigue that hits when a game starts sounding like a workflow instead of a hobby. They react like employees reading a new policy email with a cheerful subject line and bad news in the body. That is also why this particular monetization trick deserves more attention than a normal store update. A skin bundle is obvious. A pass is obvious. Even a premium upgrade is obvious. This is slipperier. It trains players to accept pre-purchasing not just content but participation. It moves the sale one step further upstream. Instead of asking, do you want this season after you see it? The system now asks, will you commit before you see it, just in case you might care later? That is a deeper shift than people admit. It normalizes the idea that a live service game is allowed to invoice your future attention. And once that logic works, it does not stay in one game. It spreads. More publishers notice. More menace get creative. More ordinary progression gets wrapped in early access language and timed windows and fake urgency. That is why this Battlefield story matters beyond Battlefield. It is a small ugly case study in how modern monetization keeps trying to turn player habit into prepaid labor. And the uglier part is that the pitch sounds normal if you hear it often enough, which is exactly how bad systems become standard. That is why this is a useful video topic right now. The early coverage exists, but the field is not fully buried under giant mainstream commentary yet. Do the breakdown properly. Give viewers the confirmed facts fast. Tell them what costs what. Tell them what arrives immediately. Tell them what waits until May 12th. Tell them what EA promises about free gameplay content. Then zoom out and show the pattern. Live service monetization keeps taking ordinary systems and converting them into pre-sale funnels. Battlefield 6 is just the current example. The bigger story is that modern service games increasingly want your money before they have earned much of anything. They want the commitment first, then they hope the content can justify it later. That is the ugly truth under all the polished menu language, and it is why this story feels cynical without needing to exaggerate a single fact. This is not design solving a player problem. It is retention strategy dressed as convenience and sold like a timed favor. And yes, that should worry anyone who plays these games. That is the difference between a real breakdown and empty drama. A real breakdown does not spend 8 minutes posing around the issue like it discovered corruption on Mars. It names the mechanic, prices the ask, tracks the timing, checks the official wording, explains the sunk cost trap, and then tells viewers why the pattern matters. Facts first, mockery second. Otherwise, it is just theater.